here with Brittany Schiavone and her mom, Sue Schiavone. And Brittany is the founder of Brittany's Baskets of Hope, which is an organization which delivers baskets to new parents of children with Down syndrome. And we're going to ask her a lot about what the organization does in a few minutes, but we'll get there. So the first question I wanted to ask you, Brittany, is what do you think your biggest strengths are?
I am passionate, I am funny, and I'm cute, I'm loyal, and I love people.
Those are the best answers. What a great way to be. So building off that, do you think that people have misconceptions about adults with Down syndrome? And if so, what do you think they are?
Okay, when she gives me that look, that means mom needs to step in.
Yeah.
It's really,
Sure, yeah.
This might preclude some of your other questions too.
Yeah.
Personally, having lived through Brittany's life at 31 years as my daughter with Down syndrome, I think people obviously don't give individuals with Down syndrome enough credit. They tend to minimize, they tend to, as together and as forward as we are in 2020, we're parents who are not in the family, so to speak, kind of rely on old-fashioned stereotypes. There's a whole movement out there. Individuals with Down syndrome have been, the retarded word has been used. A whole movement to get rid of the R word. And I think that kind of sets it up. People don't give individuals with Down syndrome enough credit for the passion, the purpose that their life has in the world. And I think that's what Brittany's showing, is that, you know, at 31, she's accomplished a lot. She's certainly accomplished more than I have in my life.
Yeah.
So people underestimate people with Down syndrome.
Yeah, I was going to say that Brittany's really shown that with her work and the recognition she's gotten for her work. So I actually wanted to ask about that next. Sort of, what is the mission of Brittany's Baskets of Hope for our viewers who aren't yet familiar with it?
Well, we are building in the basement.
No, what's our mission? What are we doing? What do we do with Brittany's Baskets of Hope?
We make it and deliver baskets to people with Down syndrome.
To who? What kind of people?
Down syndrome.
And babies.
And babies
with Down syndrome, right?
Yeah. And so just to elaborate on that a little bit, we've heard from a lot of parents of children with Down syndrome that they don't get the most welcome from the hospital or into the world sometimes. And one of the things, and that can be very, very painful for the parents and the children. And one of the things we are so impressed with about your organization is that it totally turns that, right? And makes the birth of someone with Down syndrome a cause for celebration by giving them all these really, really cute stuff. As you'll see to our viewers, when you look at Brittany's Instagram, you'll see how cute the things they give out are. And how do you think that has helped parents cope with their changing expectations in that moment?
What do the baskets do for people?
bring hope.
It brings hope to the parents.
And holding the baby.
And you like to hold the baby,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Do you ever get to meet the people, Brittany?
In local, we always basket to them.
That's amazing.
We're on Long Island. If we have a baby on Long Island, Brittany and I and the secretary of Brittany's Baskets of Hope, Ashley Asti, who is an integral part of this. She's the one who takes care of all of our social media accounts, and she's absolutely amazing. She is knee deep in baby pictures every day, and she keeps our Instagram and Facebook sites humming. But we go and we visit if there's a local baby. Brittany gets to hold the baby. And we speak to the parents about their experience and share our experience of 31 years with Brittany. And Brittany shares her accomplishments and just being Brittany.
That's right.
Yeah. What kinds of things do they ask you often?
Well, they want to know what you do, and they want to know what your life is like, I think, right?
I think so.
And you tell them about self-direction and putting BBOH together.
Yeah.
I think the bottom line is you're 100% right. even in 2020, when a baby's born with Down syndrome, what we hear from the parents is, I'm sorry.
And we don't have sorry.
You're right. What do we try to do? We try to tell them, congratulations, right?
Yeah.
Right. And 31 years ago, we were told, I'm sorry to tell you that this is the news. And like any parents of a new baby, you have this level of expectation, and all of a sudden that expectation is just flipped around completely. I have to get used to a new normal, and you have to get used to differences in raising this child. But the first thing we heard, and we're still hearing now in 2020, is I'm sorry. And Brittany wanted to flip that because there's nothing sorry about Brittany's life.
Yes, nothing down about it is one of my favorite hashtags that I see you guys using a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear this from a lot of parents, they are, and people with Down syndrome who are advocates saying, how valuable my life is and how passionate I am and how much I've done, and don't underestimate me. And that's what we really like, because it's not just that Brittany is showing people what a person with Down syndrome can do, but she's also paying it forward. She's giving that hope to somebody else. So I think that's pretty impressive. And maybe that's one of the reasons I think why you won the L'Oreal Woman of Worth award.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Could you tell me about what it was like?
Technically, it's not sad tears, it's happy tears.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
right, I know that now because Ashley filmed it, the whole thing of it. And I'm so glad she did that.
And
we lost count how many awards.
We've lost count.
We just did.
But what was tell Erin about the Woman of Worth Award? What was it? It was the 2019 L'Oreal Paris Women of Worth National Honoree.
Yes.
There were 10 very impressive women with very impressive non-for-profit organizations across the United States who, from an application, a group of people at L'Oreal Paris decided that these were 10 that they wanted to move forward. And we were treated amazingly well by L'Oreal Paris. And then there was a voting campaign last fall, and Brittany wound up with the most votes and was awarded the L'Oreal Paris National Honoree last December. So that was very exciting.
I remember I voted. I was very, very excited.
Thank you.
I mean, all the nominees, as you're saying, were incredible, but I was rooting for Brittany, and I was thrilled to see that you won, Brittany. That was awesome. What was the gala like? It looked so incredible.
What was the gala like? Who did you meet?
We saw you all dressed up.
Whitney Carson. The gala was star-studded. We got to put on our best outfits, and Brittany had hair and makeup done. It was by a professional, right? By two professionals. We were really treated amazingly, and it has continued. L'Oreal Paris has continued to support Brittany's cause and the cause of the other 9 women over the span of the year.
I went to LA.
Right. What did we do in March?
I don't remember.
Well, you went to LA.
Yeah.
And what did you do?
Model.
Right. Brittany shot a promotion for the 2020 Women of Worth Awards, which are ongoing now.
I kept the outfit.
That's awesome.
And she shot a video and print ads with Viola Davis for the 2020.
Amazing.
So it was very exciting.
We met them beforehand.
We met them at the gala, and then we met them again in March. And we slid it right in before the pandemic hit, so we were very lucky.
That's right.
I was lucky. I'm glad that the pandemic didn't take that away, because that's pretty
Absolutely.
Cool. So you actually anticipated my question, because I was going to say, has this attention led to people saying to you, Brittany, you're a role model for me? Because one of the things I like that I see more models with Down syndrome is that it allows children to look and say, and people on TV, actors, allows children to say, I see myself represented. Because we talk a lot at Different Enable about how hurtful it can be when you don't see anyone like you in the media. Do people come up to you, and are people like starting to look at you that way as a role model?
Technically, yes, but let's say Brittany Carson has a friend, and one of her friends has a niece, and she has Down syndrome too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know how that goes.
There were influencers at the gala, and we came to
Cool.
run into several different
Yeah.
influencers. Iskra is a plus size model on
That's it.
Instagram, and she connected with us in a very special way. Her niece has a baby with Down syndrome. So
Amazing.
Down syndrome family is really just that. It's a family. It's a very wide-ranging group of individuals, but we all have a common basis. And I'm sure it's like that with any disability or any cause that's near and dear to your heart. The Down syndrome family is very tight. And I think that's why Brittany wound up with the national honoree.
Yeah.
Because while we're on Long Island, she has delivered baskets where and how many?
Let's say
Over
900
Wow.
baskets in the 50 states.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So her reach and her influence, while quiet, is definitely far-reaching. And when you see, as you said, when you see someone with Down syndrome, you voted because you were part of this family, directly or indirectly. And I think that's what motivated a lot of people.
That's right.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I'm thrilled to see more brands like Target and TV shows.
Yes.
There's an actor I've been following on Instagram who has Down syndrome. I mean, I'm thrilled to see more disability representation in general and more models who aren't traditional in various ways.
Yes.
But I just think it's really amazing because we all need that. We say it, Different Enable, all the time. Everyone needs accessibility. It's not for one group or for one set of people, it's for all of us. We all need to be recognized for our uniqueness and our beauty. And so and honestly, I said to Allie, I was like, I really want to do this interview because you're a little celebrity to me, Brittany. I've been wanting it for a long time because I feel so passionately, because I really do feel so passionately about this, and I think it's so important. Yeah, I love that you're an influencer for the good, and that we have people on the grounds doing this kind of thing. It's really important. So I guess I have a couple more questions. I won't keep you too long. But what does it feel like to know that you've given back to another family that's gone through something similar to what your family has gone through?
How does it make you feel?
Happy?
Absolutely.
Really happy when I heard a baby.
Yeah.
That's
So you really love children, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's very interesting from a mother's point of view too, to watch Brittany just go through her life. People ask her all the time, what was your biggest challenge, or what does it feel like to have Down syndrome? And it's a question that always stops her cold, because growing up, we were very lucky. She started school when she was 6 weeks old at a developmental preschool. And she's been in school from 6 weeks till 21. And to be perfectly honest, Down syndrome is a piece of who Brittany is. It's not who she is. And when she gets those questions, what has been your biggest challenge? She looks at me for help, because this is her life. There's challenges along the way. We all know that there are challenges. She's faced them, but it's kind of like, yeah, okay, let's do this and go on. So it's funny, the question about being, having Down syndrome is kind of a moot point. It's part of who she is, but is that all who you are?
No.
No. What else do you like to do?
Of course.
Dance and act.
Uh-huh.
I'm into theater. I love it.
Sorry, I didn't hear the last one.
A little bit louder.
I lost my train of thought.
No, you're into what? You're into
theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I love
Right. Sorry, that was my fault. There's the guy lawnmowering outside. So.
Yeah, I
and I love that you're bringing up that, Brittany, you're obviously an advocate for the Down syndrome community, but I do think it is important that people know all the other sides to you, so that they understand that you're a three-dimensional person and not just one thing. So I'm really glad you brought that up. I just have two more questions. So what are the goals for the future of the organization, of Brittany's Baskets of Hope? Are there any changes coming up or anything we should know about for our community?
Well, what are we doing in the house? What just happened to us?
Move.
Right. We just moved. We are 3 weeks in a new home. And in
Congrats.
the house, when we put a basket together, maybe we should just really quickly talk about that. We put a basket together, we have what we call a packing party. We usually wait until we have about maybe 20 or 30 baskets together, which is about a month's worth of requests. People go online, request a basket, and we get them all together. And because it's such a big deal in the environment that we had and we have right this minute, we have packing parties. So we have Ashley come over and family members or whoever wants to come over and help us, and we put the baskets together, right? Are they really baskets a lot of times?
Not really.
What happens?
Boxes or
Envelopes.
envelopes.
Since the majority of our 900 plus families are not local, the basket idea turned into mailing envelopes and boxes. So we put those together, and we have all of our stock in the basement. So the stock has to come up to the first floor, and we put it all together.
That's right. Toys, specifiers, stuff. Technically, what we have, Mom, when the people have knitted or crocheting people, we don't have what? We don't have connection, right?
Well, we've been really lucky. I think what Brittany's trying to say is that on Long Island and actually all over the United States, we've been really lucky to connect with knitters and crocheters. Send us
like hats
boxes
or booties they made.
of homemade hats, booties, sweaters, blankets. And one of the things that we put in every basket, resources for the parents. We include
the main goal. One of the main family we deliver by local. You saw my video before when it comes when Paris Women Wars video comes out. That's my logo, and saying it was see a baby with Down syndrome. You know that child has that baby with Down syndrome. Can do anything, really anything they can do, especially I can do. And
book is a book by Susan Skellerup, which is probably in its 27th printing at this point. It was something that I used when Brittany was born 31 years ago, and it's still, I think, the premier guide for parents who have a new baby. What to expect, what not to expect, and just it kind of gives them a roadmap to use to help raise that child. What else goes in the baskets? Resources for the parents.
Right, we get the
your story.
Yeah. Welcome to Holland.
Welcome to Holland, the poem Welcome to Holland, which is a fabulous encapsulation of what happens to your life. Right, downright perfect what?
Onesie?
Downright perfect onesie.
Love that one.
We're including, starting actually tomorrow, is we have a mom who has her own blog, and we're going to announce that we're including her story. So she has a personal story.
Yeah.
She has an infant with Down syndrome. So we're going to connect to the parents with another parent who has just recently gone through what they're going through.
Amazing.
And then just things to celebrate the parents, to celebrate the baby. L'Oreal Paris gave us an entire box of makeup to include moms.
Yeah, we technically, Ashley found it out. She got the makeup and the stuff she did, and we collect one of one each, put them in the yellow
in a little bag, right,
with my picture on it. That was fine. And that's why the moms get that instead.
So there are a lot of things for the baby to celebrate. In terms of going forward, what are we going to do downstairs?
Packing.
Right. We have a huge basement in our new home, and one of the things that we're going to do with the money that Women of Worth gave us is we're going to set up kind of a distribution center to
Amazing.
Together so that we don't have to drag everything up and down to put it together, and it'll allow us to get the baskets out in a more timely fashion. Right now we're stuck. We didn't do anything in the pandemic. We moved at the same time, so we're a little bit behind, but we're hoping to get that out a lot faster with the changes that we're going to make.
This idea really was I was 25 years old
Mhm.
before that question was, and then I saw this video, and I wanted to do it. That 4 months later, I came home, told my parents about it. I was like, okay, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no, my hardest is this, and I want to do it now. Okay,
The video was families helping other families with Down syndrome. And she came home, as she said, she announced, and we said, oh, that's lovely.
that's not.
But she pushed, and it wound up coinciding with her change in adult services. Brittany now has
Self-determination.
self-determination,
Before
self-direction.
it was ASS, Program of Walls. They go different kind of places. It's like repeating over and over again. And I don't like that. I was in a black hole.
We called it,
started,
uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
And then after that we saw self-redirection.
Mhm.
I am in the middle. I am the boss.
Mhm.
I'm the one to hire staff. And I'm going places I go. That's like go out to eat, go to the park, go to the beach, or go to movies, or
To school.
go to Steinbrook.
Mm-hmm.
And then they took me a lot of places. Then I go to work at Paris City, but not anymore. But now I work on that with Wednesdays with Megan Marsh. And then it'd be Katie Newman to work at my co-worker's office, and that's mine on Thursdays. That's how it goes.
Awesome. I remember you wrote about this. You wrote an essay for us a long, long time ago, maybe
I
3 months
did?
ago. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you're
Yeah.
so busy, you can't even remember. You remember.
We lose track.
Yeah.
I know. And you talked about this, that you were looking for, at that point, you were looking for your next sort of
Next week.
expedition adventure. And I think that's what we've seen. You were right at sort of at the beginning of Brittany's Baskets of Hope then.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really amazing to see, you know, like your mom was saying, I really admire you for starting this incredible foundation. I can't say I've done anything like that. And it's incredible to be in your 30s and have done all that.
Yeah, the reason why, well, technically Erin, because the reason why I didn't get the name yet, it
What
was
name?
Brittany's Baskets of Hope.
Oh, okay.
Because one of my greatest staff multi worlds before she got her job, and her name is Allie Spilber. She was on the board of this whole thing, and that's why her father we went to his office and get the name of Brittany's Baskets of Hope. Make that
Awesome.
stand, make that name go, and get that word out. And that's how it starts from Allie first. Then it was actually Asti before she got
She's the secretary.
of her job.
Mm-hmm.
Before she got her job, Ashley them up and do that.
Mm-hmm. And
Awesome.
it wouldn't be what it is without Brittany's staff. And that's the wonderful part of self-direction, is that, as Brittany said, she chooses her staff. We interview them as a family, and then Brittany has her own interview process. They go out for ice cream.
Well, technically, Mom and Dad haven't watched the whole thing. You know, experience of your life. How was your day? Whatever. So that's their way. But for my way, it's different. Because I enjoy themselves. And I see happiness inside it because I know I'm right there. Then next to it is called Totally Twisted. It's like a yoga place.
Mm-hmm.
But I call it ice cream because it's lots of toppings on it. So I go out. They went to favorite color, where's your favorite movies, something like that. My day for the start. I like them.
Mm-hmm. And then we hire them.
Yeah.
Right? So she does. She has her own interview process. She comes up, she gives us thumbs up or thumbs down. And as long as, you know, we've kind of vetted them first, Brittany has the final say. And we've got we have had, and we still have some incredible young women that work with Brittany to take her out in the community, to let her live her life. And we're really advocates of self-direction. It has worked for Brittany beautifully in her life and allowed BBOH to grow.
And
yeah, that's amazing.
Like I said from social media and quote like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, actually gets the main product. Okay, where's the sex of the baby? Where's the name of the baby? Name of the parents, name of the pet, or the sibling, whatever. She had to get that. She's the one trying to do it. And then afterwards, she came over to us. I'm saying this is the papers of on the baby with Down syndrome name. So technically, you get the paper. How old?
Yeah, how old the baby
Yeah,
is.
like that. Is it like in spring or summer? How much the baby is?
How big the baby is.
Something like that. So it's by size.
So are all the baskets exactly the same, or are they different?
Really, not really the same. My dad likes to be hiding because he would be like off screen. So technically, he's the one who do the numbers and the rating. That's what he does.
So the whole family has
It's a family.
right.
I love that you tailor them to the individual people. I think that you said so much that I admire, but I think that probably makes people feel really cared for. I like how you're treating the whole family as a system that needs care, because that's really important to us.
Before I did the packing party, one of my brother, the sweetest brother on earth on planet right now, only one I have. I'm so glad I have him because he's part of my whole life. But before technically I was in his wedding and I was the best woman and I wanted to speak.
I love that.
So right now I have him, but I have two. So that's Justin Schiavone and he married his partner from Sacred Heart and he stayed from Alfred. And then this is my partner and I love him. And 2 months later they get married.
Amazing.
Too. He has a production background and a producer background. So
Like
he shot the first video and he's extremely excited that this has happened for Brittany.
I'm jealous because I'm an only child and I always wanted a sibling, so I feel very jealous of you.
She's only child.
Me too.
Well, you've been blessed with a great family now,
Without a doubt. And just to watch, Justin's 3 years older than Brittany, and he was 3 when she was born. And while his life kind of could have turned upside down, we tried desperately to include him in all the things because without a doubt, raising a child with Down syndrome takes more effort, I think. You're looking at that point, 31 years ago, we were taking Brittany to an infant program twice a week. So that time, now services are the least restrictive environment in preschool, so they're delivered to your home. But 31 years ago, they were center-based preschool programs. So we were running at least 2 afternoons a week to preschool with Brittany, which meant Justin had to go to grandma's or a babysitter or someplace. So what could easily have been a resentful situation turned into something very different. He has been an incredible advocate for Brittany. And I think a lot of growing up with Brittany's friends and just being around the special needs community, he's now a school psychologist at one of the local high schools.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is. It's very, very cool. And we went to the infant program when Brittany was a baby. We're still friendly with 4 or 5 other families 31 years later. That's okay. I have to say their names.
Okay.
But both older siblings and younger siblings have gone into the helping profession also. So I think that has made a tremendous impression on entire families and changed the way you look at things in the world.
Yeah, I can tell. So our last question is just, Brittany, what advice would you give? I actually want to ask both of you, so maybe I'll ask Sue this question first and then Brittany, so we can have that at the end of the interview to sort of focus on Brittany. But Sue, what advice would you give to parents who find out they're having a child with Down syndrome or learn they've just had a child with Down syndrome?
I think the first thing you have to do is not listen to anybody other than facts or other than someone who has gone through it. And even then, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. My husband and I have raised Brittany to try everything. She was a gymnast. She was a swimmer. She tried horseback riding. She did everything. She danced. She did everything that a typical little girl would want to do.
That's not what happens.
What? What happened?
You know what happened.
Oh, okay. Brittany has a totally unrelated to Down syndrome hip issue. So she recently went through a hip replacement.
Don't do it.
It has made her able to do the things that she used to do when she was little. But don't underestimate, and I called them leaps of faith, things that you're really, I mean, every parent has it, but when you have a child with special needs, those leaps are bigger because you're really nervous about, will they be okay? Will they be safe? Can they handle it? Will they be sad? Will they be disappointed? But you got to take those leaps of faith in life and just let your child live their life. And I think that's the biggest thing that we've learned with Brittany is that she's more than capable.
That's clear. Yeah.
So what advice would you have?
I've always known you. Yeah. That's what I'm interested in, Brittany. What would you say to parents who find out their child?
What do you always say? People
with Down syndrome can't do anything. Really, 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 really anything. That's my tagline all this time.
Mm-hmm.
I get my word out.
And I think that's a great. I'm sorry. I missed that last comment. Get the word out.
Please, I get it.
Yes, that's great. We're so excited. I think that's a great place to end, and we're so excited to share this with everybody. And if you guys are comfortable, if you join our community, we may have parents and other people with Down syndrome who want to be in touch with you via the community. So that it's totally, on there. And if you're interested in that, that would be great, because often people, after they watch one of our videos, we post it in the community, and then they have questions for the person.
Absolutely, we'd love to.
Put me on it.
Awesome.
That's great.
Okay.
Thank you, Erin. It was great.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.